This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all, I'm Lamiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, it was a red letter day for the island of ABACO today as a groundbreaking ceremony was held on that northern island for a state-of-the-art community center and hurricane shelter. The Prime Minister, along with the area member of Parliament spearheading that event. Megan Shepard reports.
Superstorm Hurricane Dorian was no doubt a major wake-up call for the Bahamas, particularly those in the northern Bahamas who endured the brunt of the powerful storm. This catastrophic event is also the major push behind a new state-of-the-art community center and a hurricane shelter to be built on the island of ABACO. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, at the center's groundbreaking ceremony, notes that ABACO will indeed come back stronger through adaptation and resilience. He says the facility will serve as a high-performance community center and storm shelter.
And the facility will serve the communities of Greater ABACO for meeting conferences, seminars, religious functions, and other cultural events. During a hurricane or any disaster, the ABACO Center will convert into a shelter that can accommodate 800 people. And we anticipate other shelters being constructed in ABACO and Grand Bahama. We will also continue to support other buildings traditionally used as shelters. And this summer, my government spent approximately $6 million doing repairs to a number of churches and schools in the northern Bahamas.
The construction of the facility is also expected to inject a major boost into the local economy, as the center will utilize local licensed architects, engineers, and general contractors and labor. All Bahamian building codes will be strictly enforced, with a wind rating of 180 miles per hour sustained.
The structure's single-story design to be utilized as a multi-purpose space, including kitchen facilities, bathrooms, facilities, and meeting rooms and offices. I think this is extremely important because from experience, as Darren had pointed out, during Hurricane Irma, we had to evacuate individuals from southern Bahamas, airlift such individuals, and had to place them in numerous places. And what we found, which was most accommodating, were the community centers within the Bahamas that were all inclusive. All the windows and glazing elements are impacted, resistant glass. The facility has appropriate storage spaces for hurricane supplies and provisions, along with furnishings, that is chairs, tables, etc., for community usages and events.
Now, according to a member of Parliament for North ABACO, the Honourable Darren Henfield, the building will be constructed at an estimated cost of $1.8 million. Now, while the building is being constructed, it will be referred to as the ABACO Center. However, upon completion, a competition will be open to all high school students on the island to select an official name. The winner of that competition will receive $10,000 toward their school. Henfield explains that the center will have a dual function, providing a safe environment for community involvement.
We need some outlet for our young people, particularly here in North ABACO, where we have a lot of young people in this community and in the surrounding environment who can come here after school and do organized programs with youth groups, with government groups, with any group that you desire. There's also a commitment that I have from a donor to put in a swimming pool here, somewhere in the vicinity of this community center. And so this serves two purposes for us, principally as a community center where we can have events, host events like graduations and the rest of them, and then it serves that purpose that we really need it for, which is in the event of an oncoming or incoming hurricane.
Noting the historic devastation left behind by Hurricane Dorian, including the destruction of several shelters, Minister Henfield says that now is the time for the construction of a dedicated hurricane shelter.
We saw what happened when the shelters that we had organized were compromised. Thank God, as I indicated in my remarks, we had the government complex and we had the clinic, the government clinic, where people could come and find safety. We're going to continue to have to deal with hurricanes as climate change and the rest of it continues to cause frequency and ferocity with these weather systems. And so what we've done here today is move toward more stability, more resilience in the way that we manage hurricanes.
The center is expected to be completed by summer 21 and will be located in the Central Pines community. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, the Disaster Reconstruction Authority partnered with the Bahamas Hope Foundation, Sol Relief, and Ernst & Young to build the ABACO Center. Ambassador for Sol Relief, Letitia McIntosh, says that the organization has made significant contributions towards relief efforts on Grand Bahama and ABACO. She says the partnership is a continued demonstration of their commitment to that island.
The president of Sol Relief, Jennifer Lockwood, asked the question, what would you like to do in your community? The response, a community center. It was then we realized we had a shared vision. Opportunity meets a shared vision. As we prepared and planned, we learned that the managing director of the Disaster Reconstruction Authority, Mrs. Kay Smith, and other like-minded organizations shared the same vision. Today we celebrate, through this collaboration, the execution of that shared vision. The groundbreaking of a modern-day, multifaceted community center. The center will make a significant impact on the growth and development of our community.
Now, Ernst & Young is also stepping up to make the center a reality. Tiffany Pilcher says they are proud to be a part of the redevelopment of ABACO.
At EY, we believe in giving back to the communities we serve as we live up to our purpose of building a better working world. This new community center will play an important role in supporting the redevelopment of this resilient community. We have a deep culture of caring at EY and are so grateful that our donation is providing much needed assistance and support to Abaconians on their road to recovery. We love this beautiful island. Wish you all the best.
Well, in news from the Crime Beat, police on Grand Bahama warning of fraudulent checks in circulation on the island. The Financial Crimes Branch is reporting that unscrupulous persons have presented fraudulent checks purporting to be from J.S. Johnson Insurance Company and drawn on the Royal Bank of Canada. The public is advised to not accept these checks and to report any such matter to the police immediately. Police are also warning local businesses in particular to be vigilant and report any concerns to the police. Well, a traffic fatality claiming the life of a Grand Bahama man over the weekend. Reports say shortly after 6 p.m. on Saturday, police were called to a traffic mishap on East Sunrise Highway and Waterfall Drive involving a 2004 white Mercedes-Benz with a lone male driver and a red 2012 Honda Accord coupe with 3 occupants. Officers of the fire department were called to the scene and assisted in the extraction of both drivers using the jaws of life. The male driver of the Honda Accord succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene by EMS personnel. The other 2 passengers were taken to the Rand Memorial Hospital via ambulance and have since been released. The male driver of the white Mercedes-Benz is still in hospital. Assistant Superintendent Police Alfonso Pinder of the Traffic Division gives more details.
This brings our traffic fatality to 10 for the year so far. Persons who have lost their life as a result of traffic accident. We want to urge members of the public please to drive with extreme caution and care. We understand that this is the Yuletide season, and we want to urge you please, if you are visiting family members, please remember that we're still under COVID-19, and we want you please to arrive safely.
Now, ASP Pinder says it appears as though speed was a factor in that accident, and police are appealing to the motoring public to drive within the speed limit and to always wear your seatbelt.
We want to urge members of the public to wear seatbelts. Seatbelt is against the law not to wear your seatbelt. And like I said, we're in the Yuletide season. We know around this period there are lots of of persons who are drinking and celebrating. And during the COVID-19, we find that folks are in a rush in order not to be caught on the streets during that time. And we find folks speeding. And so we want to urge you, please, to drive with extreme caution and care.
Meantime, police on the island of ABACO are also investigating a traffic fatality that occurred on Saturday. Reports are that shortly after 11 p.m., police were called to the SEIDE highway just east of the Little ABACO Bridge, where an accident occurred involving a 2000 T-Rex Queen truck with only the male driver. According to reports, the vehicle overturned when the driver lost control and was ejected from the vehicle. He was later pronounced dead by a doctor at the Marsh Harbor Clinic. Once again, police are appealing to the motoring public to drive within the speed limit and to always wear your seatbelt. Meantime, officers in the ABACO district are investigating a stabbing incident that has left a male hospitalized in serious condition and one male suspect in police custody. Reports are that on Friday, December 11th, shortly before 9 p.m., officers were alerted that a male was at the Marsh Harbor Clinic with stab wounds to the back. Further inquiries revealed that the incident had occurred earlier that day at a restaurant and bar in Murphytown, where an altercation transpired between the victim and another male who was known to him. The male suspect was later arrested by police. The victim, however, is listed in serious condition and was airlifted to New Providence for further medical attention. Investigations into the matter will continue. Well, the Ministry of National Security Rehabilitation of Offenders Committee, launched in July of 2019, is giving first-time offenders and young persons under the age of 21 who qualify under the Rehabilitation of Offenders Act the opportunity to have criminal offenses expunged from their record. The chairman of the Rehabilitation Committee says that such an opportunity will bring relief to thousands of persons who have made that one mistake. It is often said that second chances are hard to come by, but for first-time offenders and young persons under the age of 21, that is not the case. The Rehabilitation of Offenders Committee is accepting applications from persons who meet the criteria and are seeking to have criminal offenses permanently removed from their record. Retired Commissioner of Police and Chairman of the committee, Paul Farquharson, listing some of the benefits of having a clean police record. He says one of them is for persons seeking employment.
If you apply for a job, before the final decision is made on whether the employer will accept you, is that you must bring in a police record. And therefore, there are many persons who at the final stages of that process show up and to be turned down because they have a record.
In addition, he says not having a clean police record can prevent a person from traveling.
The offense will certainly contribute to them from getting probably a visa or arriving at the airport, only to be told that your record, you have a police record, an offense for which we will not allow you to travel. And then, of course, you have businesses, banking, and all that kind of stuff. So there are several reasons that one would want to have a clean police record.
Now, while there may be many who are seeking to have criminal offenses removed from their record, the chairman of the committee says there are 7 offenses which cannot be expunged.
Murder, manslaughter, armed robbery, rape, treason, kidnapping, and drugs. There's 2 classification of drugs that clearly is stated under the Act that cannot be expunged, and that is marijuana, 10 pounds of marijuana or more, or 2 pounds of cocaine or more.
Farquharson is hopeful that the expungement initiative will encourage persons who have a record to refrain from committing any further offense. Nonetheless, he believes that persons with a record should be given a second chance.
We all owe persons who have committed offenses, breach against the criminal justice system, They've served their time, and I think the state has an obligation to reward the person with a clean police record once that person meets the requirement in terms of the rehabilitation period, and certainly the process should be one of fairness.
Meantime, members of the Rehabilitation of Offenders Committee welcoming the appointment of Reach Out Youth Organization President Dudley SEIDE. SEIDE was selected as a member of the committee in July of this year and will be receiving applications from Grand Bahama residents on behalf of the committee.
I'm humble. Number one, I want to say a special thank you to Mr. Marvin Dames, Mr. Farquharson, who chose me to represent Grand Bahama. We have been meeting for the past 3 to 4 months. I went to Nassau and we did a lot of virtual meeting. But this is a good initiative that the government has for a lot of folks who probably commit offenses maybe 6 or 7 years ago, small marijuana, commit crime, and they want to get their record sponged. I think it's going to help in a long way.
Now, there are 7 members who are a part of the Rehabilitation of Offenders Committee. SEIDE says he's excited to be involved in an initiative which represents hope for young men.
I'm a product of what we call a second chance. A lot of the young men who are part of my program, who normally come to me, always saying they want to work to the container port or the shipyard, and say, hey, Dudley, I can't work because of my record. And I think this will go a long way on giving the young men an opportunity to get their life together and to give them a chance to work in one of those at a container port or the shipyard.
Now, for persons interested in filling out an application, SEIDE says you can contact him at the Reach Out Youth Organization at telephone numbers 352-1206 or 441-1229.